God, it's hot in that mask. Man. Ah! Okay. God. It's hot in the mask and the suit, too. It's tight. That's better. Wait, is that my camera? It's Danny, and welcome back to another video where today we're gonna be getting our spooks on again. As I mentioned from Friday, I said that today, Monday, October 31st, I would be reacting to Halloween-related scary stories. Because this is the Halloween special for Friday and Fridays. That's right. Every Friday, I'm going to be reacting to scary stories and or scary related videos on the internet. And since today's October 31st, I decided to react to only Halloween based horror stories. And this one, we're gonna be reacting to 4 of those animations. And this one is by Llama Arts, and there are 3 more by Wanty Entertainment. Go check out their channel, link in the description below. Without any further ado, let's go ahead and turn off this light. And let's get our spook on once again. Let's do this. In 3, 2, 1, play. Maybe I should turn this back on.
It was Halloween night of 2007, freshman year in high school, and I was with my friends, Ivan, Ryan, and Jesse. We were all dressed as the Super Mario characters.
Brothers.
I was Luigi since I was the second tallest. Ivan was Mario since he's short and buff. Not that Mario is buff. Jesse was Waluigi because he's freakishly tall and skinny, and Ryan was Wario because he's just really fat. So they were the perfect group costumes for us. We live in a very non-congested suburban neighborhood with a decent amount of space and freakishly tall and skinny, and Ryan was Wario because he's just really fat. So they were the
Name it, look. This is me and my friends. This is me right here. This is Houston, Remy, and Richie. Sorry, Richie.
perfect group costumes for us. We live in a very non-congested suburban neighborhood with a decent amount of space in between houses. On Halloween, that's the worst thing ever. Less bang for your buck. We were trick-or-treating for hours, way past dark, and eventually came the time when most trick-or-treaters were heading home. My feet started to hurt, and I had to constantly switch arms for holding the now 10-pound pillow sack of candy, but we planned on going until our bags were completely full. A lot of the houses by now weren't answering anymore. It was probably past their cutoff time for giving candy to trick-or-treaters.
Well, you got enough candy.
Approaching our next house, we saw a purple bucket on the stoop, which was the best feeling ever. I was the one to get close enough to realize it was empty, which was the worst feeling ever. I turned around when I heard a knock at the window of the house. We all looked at the window. Couldn't see anyone, but heard someone call out, "Wait." The door opened, and an older man, late 40s.
Nope. Back your butt back in the house. We're moving on to the next one. Go back inside. No. Look at this man. Whose man's is this? Dude got an egghead. Is this... What? What the heck?
He's already balding, stepped outside. He told us to come inside so he can get us some more candy. I said we could just wait out here. He responded saying something along the lines of, "Nonsense, come on in, we'll get you your candy." Ivan stepped in and said, "It's alright. Come on, Dan, let's go." I told the guy to take care and apologized. He just stood there watching as we walked off, not saying anything. I felt bad, but at the same time, that guy seemed like a creeper, and I figured I just dodged a bullet not going in there. If the story ended there, it wouldn't be scary, so of course, it didn't end there. We skipped a few of the guys' neighboring houses just to get further away and continued on with our business. We were walking down close to the nature preserve now, so there weren't many houses around us.
What is that
At
thing
this
in
point,
the
we were
tree?
now walking back closer to Jesse's house. I noticed Ryan had stopped walking, and I turned around to see what's up. He said he heard someone moving from behind the trees in the preserve. Now, this was before everyone's phones had flashlights, so we couldn't just go searching in the woods for someone. Besides, we were just telling Ryan that it must have been a raccoon or something. You may think this is a bit of a cliche, but when things like this happen in real life, you always assume the more logical possibility. It's just natural. Why would we assume we were being followed? I had to put my arm around Ryan's shoulder and nudge him forward. A little ways down the street, me and Ivan picked up on the sound as well. When we all stopped, the sounds of the footsteps from beyond the trees stopped as well. Ivan yelled at the obvious stalker to go away, or we would beat the shit out of them. I knew he was just bluffing, though. I could hear the nervousness in his voice. The snap of a twig from beyond the trees triggered a fight-or-flight response in all of us. Me, Jesse, and Ryan all ran for it. Ivan was at first charging to attack, but he quickly followed after realizing we had all taken off.
Hey,
We ran down the dark street, and we all noticed the sounds of at least 2 or 3 pairs of footsteps crushing the twigs and leaves in the woods. We banked it hard right down Jesse Street when it finally came up, and ran straight for his backyard, entering his house through the back door. The first thing we did was peek out through his living room window. We couldn't see anyone. We all had to gather our thoughts and discuss what the hell just went down in his living room, when all of a sudden we heard Jesse's backyard gate slam shut. Jesse dove to turn off the lights. There was a click and a bang from down in the den. It was more than likely Jesse's back door. We all agreed to go down armed with knives and face them. Jesse turned on his back door light, but there was nobody out there. Just then the front door opened, and we all screamed like animals. Jesse's mom and sisters came rushing downstairs. They had just gotten home from their friend's little house party. We all rested assured knowing it was just them.
Wait.
Jesse explained what happened, but made it seem a lot less dramatic. Me and Ivan went home after that and called it a night. At 12:30 a.m., I got a disturbing text message. It was from Jesse. It said, "It wasn't my mom." I texted back saying, "What?"
No.
He responded back quickly, saying, "It wasn't my mom in the backyard." My fingers slammed the buttons on my phone, responding back, "What do you mean?" There was a long pause before he finally told me that his mom and sisters said they never went in the backyard. I told him to immediately check the backyard from his upper deck. He had already done just that. He also told his mom everything, and she had already called the police. They didn't find anyone back there, but Jesse did mention the guy who invited us in while trick-or-treating. Nothing ever became of that, and nothing ever happened at Jesse's house again after that one Halloween night.
Nah, no. Because kids have just the biggest imaginations ever. It's probably just their minds messing with them, you know? I'm just saying. Now, before we get to the next video, I just want to say, guys, that I made an error. We are not going to be reacting to 4. We're going to be reacting to 5 scary animations. That one was by Llama Arts, and the next 4 are all going to be by Wanty Entertainment. So this next one is called True Creepy Halloween Story Animated. All right, let's do it.
Hallows Eve Nightmare, submitted by Zara Leaks.
Okay.
On Halloween back in late 2015, I hosted a sleepover with 2 of my friends, Scarlett and May. May was timid and jumpy, but Scarlett was always the confident one. Anyway,
Who is who?
we met up around 3 p.m. and set up a tent in my back garden. It was a pretty nice one.
I'm not setting up a
Ready
tent,
carpet
or you
and
do was
cozy
messing with
place
the
to hang
sheets.
out in. We set it up next to the back gate, which at the time was old and rotting. And when standing next to it, the average
Sorry,
adult
what
stood
are-
2 feet over it. We all went
Whenever I did the chills on my
trick-or-treating
neck
after we set
twitches.
everything up. It was around 7 by then. We met up with some other friends and generally had a really good time. We went back home around 10 p.m. And with the British weather being kind, it was dry all evening. And thankfully, the neighborhood was pretty
Let me fix this quality real quick. And go.
nice, so it was very peaceful
There we go.
that evening.
That's better.
We roasted marshmallows, played Truth or Dare, then finally laid down to sleep when it was pitch black out. The fairy lights in the garden barely illuminated anything, so it didn't bother us much. Out of nowhere, in the middle of the night, something woke us up. It was a creaking sound coming from the back gate. May shot up from her drowsy state. Did you guys hear that? She asked in a frightened tone. And just as she said that, we heard a cough.
Yo, are you okay? Dang, she was in a deep sleep. This is how you know you had a good sleep. I've been there. Anyway.
Coming from someone outside the tent.
Oh!
We were full alert now.
Oh,
Scarlet
brush your
covered
teeth,
May's
bruh!
mouth in case she was going to scream, as we listened to the silent night. When the deep, throaty voice came, we almost jumped out of our skins. You kids want some candy? A hoarse voice called to us. It sounded like an old man, someone who had smoked way too much in their lifetime.
No, that's no man. That's no man. That's a beast.
Come on, I know you're in there.
Dude has a
Voice
pin
called
nose.
out. Tears formed in May's eyes, and I couldn't move. It was like my 13-year-old self was paralyzed. Scarlet looked at me and nodded. She showed me her fingers and counted down. That was when we were going to run. When she hit 0, we all made a mad dash back inside the house.
Yeah.
I'll never remove that image from my mind. When I turned around, standing at my gate, I saw the man. He had gray long hair. His beard was matted and disgusting, and he had
It's a
this
Yeti!
look on his face. It was like
It's a Bigfoot!
evil. He looked hungry, but not like a person, but more like a starving predator, as if he wanted to harm us that very moment. The bolt on the gate luckily was across, and as he tried, he couldn't get in. But behind those bars on top of my gate, I saw something gleaming in his hand. A butcher knife. There was
Knifey.
no mistaking it. I gagged in fear as I saw it, and as we made it to the back door, I turned the key, and we ran up to my mother's room. She didn't believe us at first, but after looking out of her window,
They're like, there's a Yeti in our backyard? Fine, I just have to go check. Stupid kids and their drugs.
she ushered us inside, locked her door, and called 999, which is our 911.
Yeah, in
I
Europe.
then heard knocking on my front door. He must have gone around to it, I thought to myself. But the knocking soon turned to banging, and I heard the old man cussing from just outside. When she heard the sirens, she got off the phone. Then I heard a single curse coming from the man. Before he stomped
What is that
away.
run?
Then I heard a single curse coming. Then I heard a single curse coming from the man. Before he
Run.
stomped away, his footsteps disappeared into the distance when we heard a police car pull up. They never saw the man, therefore they never caught him. They didn't find him even
Probably
after
just they were
paying
blaring
our
on the
statements.
sirens.
That quickly ruined our Halloween, and we all slept in the living room after that. Or rather, we pretended to sleep.
Did he get him? Probably not, because I'm just told the story, but whatever. Alright guys, so the next video, the next creepy story we're gonna be reacting to is called Creepy Bar. So, this one is also by Wanty Entertainment. Without any further ado, let's go ahead and get started on the third one. 3, 2, 1, play. Creepy Bar.
It was on Friday night. I was finishing the last deliveries that I worked for. I was headed to the bar that I would usually go to every night to grab a glass of wine. I noticed there was a new bar that had recently opened, a kilometer away from the usual bar. So I decided to try it out. When I arrived and pushed the entrance door, I noticed something very weird. There were only 5 people inside, and they were all dressed in Halloween costumes, like vampire, ghost, werewolf, witch, and black magician. I felt really uncomfortable because I was the only ordinary person there, and also because Halloween was over 2 days ago. I was still awkwardly standing there blocking the entrance when all of a sudden, all the people started staring at me as if I had done something terribly wrong.
What are you doing in the
I made my
bar?
move and walked over to the bartender. The bartender looked almost like a real executioner. He asked me rudely in a gruff voice, "What do you want to sacrifice, blood or flesh?" Well, that creeped the hell out of me, but I thought this was his way of taking a Halloween order of alcohol. So I requested to him, "1 glass of blood, please."
Boy, if you don't...
He turned around, grabbed a wine bottle, and poured it into a wine glass. Later, he opened a drawer and took out a black satanic pentagram necklace. He dipped the necklace 3 times while muttering something into my drink. To my surprise, the wine turned black in color, and he placed the glass on the table and told me to drink it in 1 shot.
Dope magic trick.
I was really thirsty at that moment, so I took the glass and drank it completely.
Nah, bro, you know what?
It was
you know
quite
what?
strong,
No, never mind. I'm
and
going
my
to the next
vision
bar.
was slowly starting to blur. I paid the bartender and left the bar immediately. While I was walking, I started to feel dizzy, and my vision was worsening. I wasn't focused on where I was going, as my mind was in a vision of all the faces of all the people I saw in that bar, maniacally laughing and giggling at me. All of a sudden, I had already arrived home during my vision. At first, I was relieved. But when I closed the door behind me and turned around, I knew that I was in the wrong house. It was completely abandoned, cold, gloomy, and barely lit with the rays of moonlight. I tried to open the door, but it was totally locked. Right when I was going to run into the door to break it, I heard the upper wooden ceiling was creaking, as if someone was up there walking slowly, step by step. I was really afraid as I had no weapon to protect myself. I tried to call 911, but had no reachable service to call. My only option was to go upstairs and find my way out. I carefully walked upstairs and reached the top. To my left was a dead end, but to my right I saw a hallway with 3 doors on each side. I opened the doors one by one to find nothing but dark, empty rooms, and no way to escape. Finally, when I opened the 6th door, I saw a pentagram was drawn on the floor with 5 candles around, touching all 5 corners of the star. This sent me back to where the bartender dipped a necklace with the same symbol into my drink, and there was a figure floating vertically right above the symbol below. But the light provided by the candles was not enough for me to figure out what was floating. Accidentally, I dropped my phone on the old wooden floor, which created a loud sound. The figure was slowly advancing to my direction. I quickly backed off and hit my head against the wall behind. That figure, I can't forget it. My body was completely paralyzed when I saw that the same bartender at the bar was this guy. He was still dressed as an executioner. Faced my powerless
not
body.
real. I ain't buying it
To
no
make
more.
matters worse, the doors of the empty room started opening on their own, one by one, and out came all of the 5 people I saw at the bar. They were all laughing at me to the point I passed out. Then I heard silence. Then I woke up and realized that I was in a hospital. I asked one of the nurses what was going on. She told me that a group of teenagers saw me walking out of the forest and then walking to the abandoned house. They tried calling out to me, but I didn't respond, nor look at them. Then the group saw me entering the house, and when they tried to open the door, it was locked. And so they called 911 thinking that I was trapped in that house. 30 minutes later, the police staff arrived and broke open the door and found me unconscious lying on the floor.
Oh, okay.
They brought me into the hospital and
So
were trying to investigate what had happened in that
the
abandoned
bartender
house.
was just a hallucination.
Later, I told police officers the whole story when they came to ask, but they didn't seem to believe me. While some of them were laughing, thinking that I was making it up. After that, I went home and directly went to sleep. The next morning, I hurried to the bathroom because I had to vomit very badly. And after I did, I noticed that my vomit was black. To forget things, I tried taking a cold shower. And when I was showering, I felt a sharp sting on my back. Then, when I changed the water temperature from cold to warm, the sting started to feel even more painful. I turned back with my head, barely making it to see behind. Then I was shocked for life. I had the same satanic pentagram carved on my back, which was surely
how did the
done by a
nurses
sharp
not see
object.
that when they were taking off your shirt?
From then on, I never went to a bar again.
Well, I wouldn't. I wouldn't go to another bar again. I would. It's just as soon as I open a bar and instead of seeing like 50 dudes, smoking cigarettes and getting drunk, but instead I see a bunch of freaks in Halloween costumes. Yeah, no, I'm out of there. All right, so the next video we're gonna be reacting to is True Halloween Day Horror Story Animated. Once again, my entertainment. But without any further ado, let's go ahead and get into the fourth Halloween video.
This is a story that happened to me not too long ago. It was Halloween. There was a big 2-story house in our town which was rumored to be haunted. Out of curiosity, one of my best friends, Carlos, and I decided it would be a good idea to test out this rumor. So we went to that house.
Hold up. Is this dude dressed up as Mario? It's not even a Mario character. Not Mario, Luigi, Wario, Waluigi. He's just dressed up as a plumber. Oh well.
Or trick or treat. It was
a
about
DeviantArt fan.
11:45 p.m., and it took us a while to get to the house, as it was a bit far away from the other houses. When we arrived at the house, we rang the doorbell. A man who looked as if he was in his mid-30s suddenly came out. He opened the door almost right away.
Was he
He
Scarface?
had a cigarette in his hand. I could see that he was dressed in a hoodie and ripped jeans, and he looked kind of tired. My friend mentioned the rumor about his house being haunted. We laughed out loud, but he didn't reply to anything we said. He just stared at us.
His eye?
And then he said, "You kids are almost a little late for Halloween. It's going to end in 2 minutes." Well, he was right. It was almost 12 a.m. He then told us the candy was in his room and offered for us to come in. We sat on the living room couch waiting for the man who had gone upstairs.
Why would you go in his house?
However, when he came back, he insisted on us going upstairs because he had Reese's chocolate, which was my favorite.
Okay, he said Reese's is his favorite. You know what? I'm with you. I'm going in there for Reese's.
At the time. So, being a pretty mindless teenager, we took him up on the offer. We went upstairs following behind him and went into one of the dimly lit rooms. Right at that instant, I could see that there were a lot of different kinds of knives in the room. It looked as if the men were collecting knives. We thought it was a pretty cool hobby.
Who collects knives?
The man
Who collects knives? Who? No, I'm asking you. Who collects knives? Do you?
approached us and gave us each 2 pieces of chocolate. Although he still didn't say anything, we thanked him and turned around to go downstairs.
Oh.
All of a sudden, Carlos screamed in pain and fell down the stairs. I turned around and saw the man was
I'm not laughing at the fact that he just fell down the stairs and probably just broke something or died. I'm laughing at the scream.
All of a sudden, Carlos screamed in pain and fell down. I turned around and saw the man was holding what appeared to be a red knife, which was probably one from his collection. With mixed emotions, my adrenaline immediately kicked in. I tried to punch the man in the face, but he turned back and then stabbed my leg. I barely managed to hold back the pain and literally knocked him out with 5 punches. The man collapsed.
Just like that? Just
I
like
took
he's
the knife
grabbed
out of my leg and started limping, holding Carlos in one arm. We finally escaped from that house. I could see that there was blood all over Carlos's back. With shaking hands, I called the police. As soon as they arrived, they arrested the man after he had regained consciousness.
Good.
The ambulance took me and Carlos to the hospital. I wasn't hurt too bad, but Carlos was apparently stabbed twice in the back and bled out a lot. He was in the hospital for 2 weeks to recover. Sometime after I got out of the hospital, the police officer reported to my parents that the man had apparently been a registered sex offender and had raped a few children before. Luckily, he was sent to jail right after they arrested him. After all of that, I never went inside a stranger's house again. And to this day, I'm still afraid of what would have happened if I wasn't able to hold back the pain of being stabbed and had failed to escape from that man.
Alright guys, so the last Halloween Scary Story animated that we're going to be watching is True Halloween Horror Story Animated. We've seen this title like 3 times today, but the video's title is different. It says, The House I Visited on Halloween. So let's go ahead and check it out. It's Wanted by Wanty Entertainment, so... Remember, all links in the description below.
Back when I was 12, me and my buddies got to go trick-or-treating for the first time on
Oh,
our
this dude's
own.
voice.
We had a curfew of 9 p.m. sharp, and by around 8:30, we suddenly decided that we didn't have nearly enough candy for our liking. So we started going really quick from house to house, trying to cover as much ground as possible. When our watches hit 8:45, most of us are suggesting just call it a night, but I had my heart set on one more house. No one wanted to get into trouble, but I'm insisting, like, just one more house. Think of the candy. That's what tips the balance, so we walk over to this one last house, up the driveway and to the front door. I remember just instinctively pressing the doorbell, not even really looking at the door itself, so it took one of my friends to be like, dude, look. I look and I see the front door is actually open. It was only ever so slightly ajar, but it was open.
Not your house.
I gave my buddy a look as to say, what? But we didn't push the door open or anything. I just carried on buzzing the doorbell.
Yeah.
Like maybe it had been left open on purpose.
Or just leave.
Another one of us called out, hello, but we didn't hear anything back, and we were just about to walk away when we heard something from inside the house. It sounded like a thud.
You open that door, I swear to...
Like someone, I don't know, kicked a couch or something. Not a super alarming sound.
That sounded like an animal!
Enough to have us stop, turn back, and wonder if we shouldn't maybe check it out or something.
Go on, go home!
Again, one of us calls out, hello? Is anyone there? Only this time, I stepped forward to push open the front door. What we saw was a long, cream-colored carpet with what was obviously blood on it. There was blood on the carpet and blood on the door and its handle.
See, you just disturbed a crime scene.
We're all just totally dumbstruck. Then one of us just sprints off in the direction of a neighbor's house and bangs on the door. Within about 20 minutes, the street outside is just flooded with blue and red flashing lights, and me and my buddies are sat on the curb outside answering some cops' questions. The worst part was when they wheeled someone out with a sheet over them, so we knew whoever's blood it was probably wasn't with us anymore. As you can imagine, our parents must have been pretty livid with us because we didn't get home until about 10:30. But since we were with cops, they knew something must have happened. I remember my dad kept checking the newspaper for any info, but all he could find was this tiny mention of a home invasion on Halloween. I guess the perps had knocked on the front door or maybe fooled the guy into thinking that they were trick-or-treaters. We didn't even get to save the guy. Like I was hoping that, our whole year had been messed up with this thing,
what were you gonna do?
At least we get to take credit for saving somebody whenever the EMT showed up, but we didn't get there in time, and he must have bled out pretty quick. All that after me insisting one more house. Just one more house.
One more. Always just one more. Alright guys, that is going to wrap up today's Frightening Monday. And make sure to come back this Friday, because I'm going to be reacting to more scary stories. This is going to be a new thing of mine. I'm going to be reacting to scary stories and or scary related videos every Friday. And unlike Corey Tension with the Spooky Scary Sundays, I'm going to be doing it every Friday. Every Friday. And my light just went out. Okay, I should probably wrap this up. Yeah, make sure to like, subscribe, and comment down below what scary stories you guys want me to react to, or whatever other videos you want me to react to next. But with all that being said, I'll see you guys in the next video. Deuces.